Are you a teacher or educator looking to supercharge your online courses with engagement assessments, such as quizzes, tests, etc.? Then join me today in our video as I unveil some of the best secrets to creating an interactive and effective quiz in Canvas. Whether you're a Canvas novice or a Steven Pro, I've got the ultimate guide that's going to help you get through those quizzes that your students will be both excited to see and engaged to take. My name is Jessica Lynn, and let's go ahead and build a quiz in Canvas. So creating a course in Canvas is very straightforward. Just so that you know, we're going to be building one of the new Canvas quizzes. I have been working in Canvas itself for over 9 years. My history started where I worked actually on the student side as part of the help desk, manager of the help desk, and I was able to help both students and faculty and adjuncts. Became more of the faculty's assistant in Canvas for quite a while, and then I moved my way all the way up into managing the LMS system as well as Zoom and Panopto, so I'm quite versed in using this system. So let's go ahead. Now, the way I'm going to teach this is I'm going to run through and actually build it with you. So if you have questions, concerns, anything like that, please ask. I would love to be able to go and help you out with that. So I will throw in some extra feedback in here. I'm going to throw in some suggestions on how to make it a more safe quiz from cheating or anything like that. So I'll add hints in as we go. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bring up the course that you want to build the quiz in. My suggestion would be to actually build it for the very first time if this is a brand new quiz or test. I would build it out in Word so that you have everything, and then it's just a matter of copying and pasting. I think you do a better job when you're able to kind of get focused in that actual process of thinking about the core materials and then coming back and then just building it, right? Because these tools in Canvas are there to just streamline what you've already thought of. And the focus is really supposed to be your students and their education. So focus on building it first, then let's come in and actually build it, right? So it's almost like you're pre-planning, you're the architect. I'm actually going to come in with a construction crew and we're going to build this course together. So what you're going to do, I encourage that you build out your coursework in modules. You can import quizzes, discussions, testing, videos, assignment readings, everything in modules, and then you have things on the left-hand side to have to worry about as far as navigation goes. So let me show you how the quizzes go. So we're going to go to quizzes, and we're going to build this quiz that we'll eventually put into this module, and we'll do that at the very end. So in here you can see there's no quizzes available yet, so we're going to pick the plus quiz. Now, when we're in there, we're going to get two options. Now, it depends on your university. For what we have both available. So you can either choose classic or new. Just know they have not said a day where they're going to get rid of quizzes classic. They have not set the date. But at one point, I remember hearing about 2 years ago, which would be around 2025. But I don't know yet. So my encouraging words is if you see both of them available, start working in new quizzes because I know that that's the one that's going to stay. The other one will be eventually at some magical timeline go away. So let's click on new quizzes and I'm going to hit submit. Once I'm in here, the process is going to be very much like what you've seen before. So you're going to give your quiz a name. So we're going to call this one quiz 1 and then maybe put more details about the section that you're teaching. Okay. I have mine set up as 100 points. I have it set up as an assignment. Now I could create a group. Again, this is different than what we're focusing on. But with assessment groups or buckets, I call them sometimes, you can actually say in your syllabus, for example, 20% belongs to assignments, 20 to quiz, 10 to this, 10 to this, and 40 for a final or whatever, right? I didn't do the math there, but whatever. I think that's the easiest way to go because then each assignment will get weighted based on the points. They average within that group and then weighted and placed together get you a final grade. Some people prefer to do points. Totally fine. Nothing wrong with either way. For today, I'm just going to leave this though as it was an assignment and it's just going to show the grade for the student as a percentage. But just know you could also do, if it's a complete or incomplete kind of thing, you could do points, you could do a grade letter, but then you have to have a grading scheme associated to the course which is good anyway. You should have that set up, which is nice because maybe they want to see what the grade is. But personally, I like the percents because the percents are what average together to give me the final grade. Maybe this is one that doesn't count toward the grade, so you could click that too. Now, the option you have is who is this quiz assigned to? Well, everyone. And when is it due? I'm just going to put it that I have to do it by the end of the month. And I am going to allow the students, maybe this is an open book quiz, okay? I'm going to allow them the opportunity to start as early as the 16th, and they have to complete it by the 31st. Now, you could set it up for a 2-hour block if you only want them to work on it in class. You could set it up where it doesn't have an end date, but you have a due date, because then anybody who submits the quiz after that would get notified it was late, and maybe you could deduct up 5 points if you do this late, or whatever. The other thing you're going to want to do is if you don't put available from and to dates, you are going to want to make sure that you only give the student one try to do the test. Otherwise, they could go in all semester and keep upgrading their grade. Okay. Once we have all of this main information done, you're going to want to go ahead and click Save. What that does is it actually locks the quiz in. You can see it's got available till, due dates, etc. But you can see I don't have it published yet, so my students can't see it, even though I said starting today they could. I want to go and actually build the course, or the actual quiz course. So we're going to click on the name. It's going to load all this again, and this time I'm going to click on Build, which is a little different. You're probably used to hitting Edit. So just hit Build. And when you're in here, you're going to have a couple of tabs across the top. First one is going to tell you Build. Build is where you actually go to build the course, or build the quiz, or build the test, or whatever this is going to be. Now, I have a lot of people that like to have students do writing assignments. You could have them come in here and actually upload a file. So you can, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. The next thing you're going to see across the top is Settings. Now, I will tell you, from the standpoint of accessibility, Canvas is super easy for all of that. The problem with it is also so easy to cheat if people wanted to. So it's our responsibility to shake it up a little bit, be creative with how you ask your questions, and I'm going to tell you I would encourage you to use the shuffle questions and shuffle answers. And you might say, well, why would I want to do both of those? If students are taking this together in a class and they're sitting in the room together, maybe one person might get a random question like what would be question number 10, which because maybe they have to start with the essay, and the person next to them is starting with a multiple choice. It's a lot harder to share answers when you never know which one is coming up next for who. Now, shuffling answers means if it's a multiple choice or it's matching, it's going to shuffle all those around. So if you're sitting next to them, you're like, I want A, A, B. If they did A, A, B, it's not going to work because it's going to be different. The other thing I suggest is to turn on one question at a time. That way they have to focus on the one question. And again, student anxiety is already super high when they're doing this. So why add to it? You know what I mean? By showing all the questions, one at a time. The other thing I would think about too is not allowing backtracking. Now, a lot of people might say, well, but that might help. They can come back later and they can, but whenever they can backtrack, that actually helps significantly increase the percentage of cheating within a class because they can go back and go, oh, I had this weird multiple choice. Did you have this one? Oh, yeah. You see what I'm saying? So just be careful with that. You could also have the students have an access code so they can't start until they get the code, which would require them to be in class. Time limit, I wouldn't set it unless you're going to say in 60 minutes. If you don't finish, they're wrong. If you have a 60-minute time limit and you're in class and the person says, I just have one more, I need one more minute, you hit 60 minutes, it cuts them off. So just be cautious with that. Allow calculator. Now this one's great because if you're in a math class, you can actually have a calculator available to them to click on in that screen, or a scientific calculator. So that's great. Allow them to clear the section. So if they went and clicked on a multiple choice and like, wait, that's not right. Here's where you would choose how many attempts they get. So you have a couple options. You could say to them, well, this is at home. Maybe this is a book test, right? They have 2 shots to do this, and we'll keep the highest. Then you might want to say you only get 2 tries. Okay. The other thing you might want to do is say they have to wait a little bit between. Right. The other thing you could do is actually say we're going to average your 2 tests. So if you want to take it twice, that's cool, but just know I'm going to average your score. So if you do really good on the first one, so it's kind of a challenge to them, right? The other thing you could do is take the latest or the first. So totally up to you, okay? No right or wrong. I just want you to understand what all of these mean. The next thing is reports. Reports are great. When you build a course quiz in Canvas, you are going to automatically, in your gradebook, get that grade or that percentage already added to the gradebook. So you don't have to manually put it in there, nothing, right? It just shows up. But if you wanted to show how effective was this class or this quiz for the whole class, you could actually go in and pull that report or generate a report that'll show you all that analytics that you could then take to your chair and dean and say, hey, look what I did. Or, hey, here's what we tried and this didn't work, or this did work. So this is a great tool to use. Moderate is a wonderful thing as well. Let me just show you. In here, it would normally list all your students. Obviously, for this is a sample class, so I don't have anybody in here. But you could go through, and a lot of people don't know you can do this. Let's say you have your class take your quiz, and you say, but I want to give them feedback. Well, what's the obvious, right? Well, you could go and email them directly and blah, blah, blah. No. If you go into moderate your quiz, into the specific quiz, up in the right-hand corner, do Speed Grader. When Speed Grader loads, oh, it's only available for published content, sorry. So when I go into Speed Grader, normally, what it's going to do is it's going to say, Jessica, and then it'll say she got a 95%. You could give me a response or a video chat or an audio saying, Jess, great job. I see the hard work you're putting in and you're really doing a good job. Maybe the next person, samples Sally, it says she got a 15. And you're like, eee. For our program, you have to always remain at a XYZ percentage. You could say, Sally, this one wasn't your best quiz, but just know that here's this many more coming. I would encourage you maybe to use this material. And the nice part is you can leave them feedback that then's associated to that specific quiz. So I would highly encourage you to go do that. I can tell you when I was a student and I was working through the LMS system, I really liked getting feedback from my students, positive and kind of coaching as well. Like, here's the same thing you kind of keep getting wrong. Here's what it really is. Maybe go and check out this to help you. That really helps them. So exports, you can export the quiz if you needed to as well. All right, so let's go ahead and build this quiz out. Now, you can put anything you want in there. You can be as creative or not as creative as you want. I would encourage you to, if you're going to do all multiple choice, I would really suggest that you make sure you stir up the questions and stir up the answers, which will, again, help prevent cheating. Or maybe some of these have your students write a small essay that you have to respond to. Then you could use the gradebook and go into Speed Grader, and you'd be able to help, respond that way. So the way it works, we're going to build out quiz 1, and maybe I call it, I'm just going to leave this, right? This is fine. In the instructions, I would make sure that you are as clear as possible. So open book, due dates, expectations from this, like I need a certain percentage, expectation percentage, whatever the case may be, just be as transparent as possible in here. You could also, if you wanted to have fun, you could actually record a video. You could upload right here. You can go to upload media, and you could actually make a video on your cell phone saying, hey, this is your teacher. Here's what I expect, or something like that. And you could embed that. So let's pretend that I wrote out everything that was expected, and I'm going to go ahead and hit done. So now we have the course started. Now I'm going to tell you there is something called an item bank. It's up here. If we're talking beginner, don't use the bank right now. Just let the things, think about like a real bank account, right? Like let the money just sort of live out there. Don't waste it. For right now, let's build the course, and then we'll come back and we'll assess and decide which questions actually were good and which ones we want to move forward for our students. So the first question, I'm going to hit this little plus, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose which one I want. Now, when I go ahead and expand this, you can see the options of multiple choice, matching, essay, fill in the blank, etc. For right now, let's go ahead and we are going to choose just multiple choice. Simple. You're going to want the multiple choice and the add question sample to be the same. Like, don't put number 1. because when we put it up in the item bank, that's how you're going to reference this. So if you call it number 1, you'd have to click on 1 to read what the question is, click on number 2 to read the question. So don't do that. That's just more stress that you don't need. Name that and that first section there the same thing, right? So see what I did there? From there, you're going to go ahead and type in your answers. So when is our final project due? And again, we're just making this up for now. Doesn't matter what it is. Yours will be much more thought out, more, challenging to the students. I'm just showing you how the process works. So again, I'm going to put these dates in there, and then I'm going to toss that favorite one, none of the above. What? We don't have a final project. Yeah, right. So from here, the next step is going to be to go ahead and now get this all set up for point values. So in here you can see I could show the calculator. Now again, this one isn't a math problem, so I'm not going to show the calculator there. I could vary the points by answer. So if you pick this one, it's worth 1 point. This one's worth 2, whatever. But you can see based on this, I chose the December 21st as the day of our final project. Do I want to not only shuffle the answer or choices, but shuffle them again? Heck yeah, I do. So I'm going to shuffle. And then you can decide, do you want to add them to the bank? Now, I always encourage people, let your students take this quiz once. And then if there's items from it you like, you can go back in and you can do the same process and decide which ones you want to save. There are some times when you'll write a question and students will be like, what? And you don't want that one living in your bank, right? Because you don't want to bank the bad questions. Now let's just pretend our test was 100 points, so this is worth 10. Okay, so I'm going to change that and hit done. Now when I do that, it is going to take me back to the build section, so you can see there it all is. As you're going through, just like on any Canvas page, if you are like, I don't know what it looks like for the students, you can always click preview or student view. So if I click preview, it will load for me and I can see what it looks like for the students, and I can even pretend to take the test. Now, while this is loading up at the top, look, there's that calculator that we said, yeah, let's go ahead and embed that in because we want them to be able to see that. Now you can see I had it rearrange all the dates and look, everything is different. So can you imagine if you've got an entire class of everybody's working on a different question, okay, and then everybody has all their stuff sorted, the odds on cheating significantly go down. And I know that that's been a really big question right now, so that's what I would encourage. So you can even take the test if you want and hit submit. And it'll say, oh, I got it right. I got 10 out of 10 points. I got 100%. Woo, and I did it in 39 seconds. Way to go, me. Now, you say that's not the whole quiz, though. That's okay. Keep building. So what we're going to do is right now this isn't published. In here, I want to show you something really cool you can do. Let's say you wanted them to write an essay. Okay. So we're going to call this video. So we're going to say, watch this video and write one paragraph about it. And then I would put the name of the video here, just so that when you're like, ooh, do I want to use that video again because it was really successful, or do I not want to use it again? So basically what we would do is then we would go out to YouTube. So let me go out to YouTube real quick. How to check a pulse. We'll just do a nursing thing, right? So I found this video here, how to take a pulse. Now, before you share any videos on YouTube, make sure that you go through, verify it, make sure it's what you want, or if it's not, re-record your own. Put it out in our storage system, go ahead and upload that, or you can put it out at YouTube. And then share your own video if you're like, I want it to be very specific. But let's just say this Hamilton Health Services was exactly what we needed. I'm going to go into the video. Justify, make sure it's perfect what I want. Then I would go to share. Okay, when I'm in share, I'm going to click embed. And if for some reason this is new, pause the video, rewind, take notes as we go, okay? Or screenshots, whatever works. We're going to choose embed. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the code. Now this is basic HTML code for you to embed this into your course. Now you might say, well, Jess, I'll just offer a link. Don't do that. The reason being is that when you lose someone out to a social media platform, just know they're probably gone for a while. I can tell you, think about when, for example, if you went out to YouTube, it's going to say, hey, here's like 5 other videos you should watch after you watch this one. And then what happens, right? You just sort of get sucked into social media and you start watching, right? So be careful with that. I always encourage our faculty and staff and instructional designers and anybody who might be building something in Canvas, always leave it in Canvas as much as possible. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. So again, went to the video, share, embed, grab that code, and again, you highlight the whole thing and you hit copy. We're going to go back to our quiz. Okay, so in here I can write all kinds of stuff. Now if I need to expand, see these little vertical dots? I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you can see I can span my work zone. Okay, I'm going to click on this right here. Right here, okay? That switches it to HTML. Now you might say, Jess, I'm not a programmer, I don't do code, I don't even know HTML. Just follow the steps that I did and I promise it'll work. So because we have that now on our clipboard, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in its own line number 3 or whatever, and I'm going to click paste. They already gave me the code. Okay, now watch how cool this is. We're going to go click on this again so it'll show us what it looks like. That video is now embedded into our quiz. So I could say, after watching, please write 1 paragraph about how they did. Were they successful? You know, I could ask questions, right? Or I could say, what are 3 best practices that you learned about taking a pulse from this video? Again, this is just a small, very minute example. You know, if you're in fashion design, you could have them watch a video of a runway and you could have them see the different styles of collars and shoulder treatments and sleeves. And you could say, I want you to comment with as many types of collars as you notice. Or say, what sort of style is that from? Or can you give me a period of time based off of this that they referenced, right? If you are in, you know, English, you could have a video full of grammatical errors, right? Or something. So again, it's all about how creative you want to be with this content. But for this one, again, just a very simple nursing sample. In here, I could even offer the student, you know what, here's a spell checker. That's cool. I'll give you a spell checker. I'll even give you a word count and no limit on words. But I'll let you see how big it is so they know that's not, you know, if it's acceptable. Or maybe in here you say, you know, I want it to be more than 500 words, right? Now you've given them the tools to be able to be successful, but to also challenge them more than just pick one of these answers. So I would challenge you to try this. I mean, I would love to see more instructors and more adjuncts and faculty members using this kind of a tool, because I think being able to have them do more response to it and what was good, what was bad, or, you know, just like we talked about, like fashion, you know, describe all the fashions you saw on the runway, or, you know, English, describe, you know, what are the common things this person runs into? And maybe this one you say, you know what, it's worth more than 10 points. This one is a biggie. It's worth 50. Okay. Then what I do is I save it. I hit done. Now it's on part of the project. Now what's kind of cool is you can always click preview. Let me show you what this looks like. As it loads, it's going to load the questions. Now, for me, because again, we're just working on this as a sample, it's always going to load them in order for me. But if I had it rearranged, I might get that full video and essay first. I might get a multiple choice. I might get a submission. I might get a matching. Whatever I set up, I'm going to get those options. So then I would hit next. It'll say, ooh, you've not answered this quiz, and we don't allow backtracking, which means if I don't answer this, I've already lost 10 points. Ooh, shoot. All right, I'll pick a date. I don't know, right? Now I'm going to come in and do the video. I'm going to watch the video. Now look how cool this is. It's embedded in my screen. Students aren't leaving. Look, I hit play. It's going to run through the video. Okay? See how easy it is? You're like, oh, nursing stuff. Oh, Tim McGraw, right? So see how easy it is to get distracted. In here, they can write their whole essay. Okay? And then they're going to hit submit. Now it's going to tell me it's not going to give me a grade for this bottom part yet. See, it's going to be waiting for the grade. Why? Because I'm the teacher, and I'm going to have to go in now after the quiz is done, and I'm going to have to score that. So that might be where you might share like a rubric, how you're going to grade these, based on assessment. But again, what a great option to be able to help your students really learn the materials. So I'm going to exit this preview, and let's say I'm done. That's it. It's 2 questions. Now I didn't make it 100, but let's just pretend I did, okay? You can see it tells me how many is 60. Over here, you can see it's going to tell me here's 1, here's 2, 1, 2. Total is 60 points. So it already calculates it out. But let's just pretend I had 100. I'm going to hit return. There's my quiz. It lives out there. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and make sure my students can see it. So I either need to have quizzes open, where if you see that little eyeball, that means it's hidden. But see, our quizzes are open, so students could find it in quizzes. Or you could do what I really like, which is to build it out in modules. So if you have a module, basically you just need to make sure it's published. So like week 1. So a lot of times when I build courses, I'll do like week 1, week 2, week 3, and I'll put the date in there and maybe the content title. I'm going to hit the little plus sign here because I want to add that quiz. So I'm going to go to quiz. Again, you can see I can add anything that I've built right in here. So there it is. Now it loads. Let's go ahead and publish that. And you can see the students have to do that by the 31st. So again, if I was the student, again, I can click on that student view. Here's how it looks to them. They're going to click on that quiz. The other thing they might look at too is the syllabus, because the syllabus page will also show you due dates for all your stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and click on the details for that. Pretending I'm the student, because you can see I'm logged in as the student, purple down at the bottom. I'm going to say, cool, let's look at this. Ooh, uh-oh. Let's see what's on here. So quiz 1, more details about, okay. Open book, here's my expectations. No time limit, here's when it's due. Okay, so nice and clear. I have 2 attempts. This will be my first one. Okay, backtracking is disabled. This assignment deliver 1 question at a time. Going back is not allowed. Ooh, I better focus, right? So again, it is really clear as to what's going to happen. I say, all right, let's do it. I'm ready. I've got an hour. I'm going to see this quiz. I'm going to say, great, let's do this. It's going to load that question. Now it's random. So you can see it picked question number 2 that I built. So I might start with the video and the assessment that I have to write. Person next to me might have a multiple choice. Person on the other side of me have something else. Maybe there's more than one video. Again, you can see how you can stir up the creativity within the quiz, but also help keep things where cheating is down to a minimum. Okay. So I can type in whatever I've got. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to say, what? We don't have a final project, and submit. And it's going to say, well, one of your questions needs grading. And so far, you've got a 0 because you got that wrong. Now, if you give them more than one chance, you're going to see that they're going to see what the answers are, so they could go back and fix this one. So again, do you want to give them more than one shot? Do you want to give them one shot and done? It's up to you. So again, I have it where the average, so they're going to average my scores. So right now I had a 0 plus whatever you were going to grade on this one, plus they'll average the second one. Ew. Yeah, I guess it could only go up from there, right? So that's how you do this. It's super easy to do. I'm going to leave the student view now so you don't see that anymore. But if you have any questions, please go ahead and feel free to reach out and ask. Again, building quizzes is super easy. Thank you for taking the time, and I hope you have a great day. Take care, everybody.